Hey guys, what is up? Today I come to you with my weekly review of Boku no Hero Academia Season 2, Episode 4. And of course, we are starting with the second stage of the sports festival, the cavalry battle. But things don't seem to go the way Deku wants them to go. Knowing that he passed the first stage and he is in first place, he is worth 1 million points. And since the cavalry battle is more of teamwork, he would have thought it would have been easy for him, but he is now the main target of everyone on the field, so no one wants to work with him, and that proves to be very difficult for him. But luckily he's able to get some allies on his team so that he can secure his first position, and that is with Uraraka. And initially he wanted Ida, but Ida felt like he was falling behind Deku, so he decided to team up with Todoroki. And of course, Todoroki came second and Kacchan came third, so there's no way they want to deal with Deku and want to team up with him. Instead, they want to take him down during the sports festival. So instead, Deku was lucky enough to get one of the people from the supporting class by the name of Mei Hatsume, and what the supporting class does is basically they make utilities, creations, and machinery for heroes. And she believes that if she teams up with Deku, who's in first place and part of Class A, knowing the reputation Class A has had during their face-off against the villains, she thought it would have been better to team up with him. She would have been in the spotlight, and the big companies will be able to see her babies. That's what she loves calling her creations. And instantly, she and Deku are able to get close and hit it off. And also, he managed to get Tokoyami, and you know, his quirk is dark matter, which he's able to manifest his shadow and manipulate it in anything that he wants to be able to do. So now that his team is complete, because remember, the cavalry battle is basically where you have from 2 to a total of 4 people on a team, and then you have someone that's on top and they take the headband off of the opposing team, and who's ever left standing is the one that wins. In this case, in this battle, knowing that when they gather all the members on their team, each person is worth a certain amount of points, starting from the 42nd position, who has 10 points, going up till they reach Deku, who's worth 1 million. Once everybody comes together, all their numbers add up, and that's how much is in total. So if you take the first position, which is Deku, plus adding his team members' numbers, then you are now in first place, and you go on to the next stage. So everyone is aiming for Deku and his team to take his headband so that they are the ones in first place. And there was several things that were surprising in this week's episode. One of them would have to be for Class A. Now, everybody has their eyes on Class A, but they're not doing well so far. Now, we saw this character, he's part of Class B, which is also the second hero course class, but they don't get much light shined on them. Actually, they're outclassed by Class A simply because of the fact that Class A has faced with villains, so they gave them some type of experience. And from what we know, Class B, they deliberately kept themselves in the shadow since the beginning of the sports festival, in order to watch their rivals and watch their opponents, what their quirks are, what they're capable of doing, so they can countermeasure them when it came to the second stage and so forth. And so far, they're the ones that's taking the headbands from everybody from Class A, and they even managed to take Kacchan's headband, which I did not expect that to happen. And he even goes to provoke Kacchan, even telling him of the incident that happened in season 1 prior to, you know, Deku going to UA Academy with the sludge incident where he was a victim to that. Instantly knowing that Kacchan is already hot-tempered, and now you're telling him something that he's embarrassed about, a fact that he does not want to ever bring back. That's in his far memory. That's in the graveyard, and you decide to take it out the graveyard, make it arise, and that instantly gets him angry. So instead of focusing on getting the headband from Deku, he wants to kill this guy. Now, I don't know what his quirk is, I don't know what he's capable of doing, but he seems like a really interesting character, and they also didn't tell his name, so hopefully they'll tell us by next week's episode or so forth. And what also was another interesting fact was, we know that Todoroki, since the beginning of this sports festival, has said that his stupid father was watching him. Now, for most of us, we don't know who he is, but of course the manga readers do know. And he was shown in this episode. I mean, it was pretty obvious by the way that Todoroki was looking at him. He was looking at him with annoyance. And his dad, I don't know what's his name or any, I forgot. I don't know if they mentioned his name or not, but he's just covered in flames, and that's his quirk. Like, he's able to use fire or something. So knowing that Todoroki's quirk is fire and ice, he creates ice with his right, but he stated that when in battle, I will never use his left, and I guess that's like a stance against his father. Now, I don't know entirely what their relationship is because they just stated it in this season. They never mentioned it in last season, but Todoroki's taking more on a role in this season, so we're going to get to know more of his personality, more of who he is as a character. And from the way he was talking for the past 2 episodes in regards of his father and how he, regards him and how he looks at him, you can simply say that their relationship is strained. Knowing that his dad is looking at him, possibly his dad is having such high expectations of him to be a great hero that, and especially remember back to that talk he had with Deku in the locker room, in the waiting room, how he's going to be, number one, he's going to beat Deku, and how, All Might was keeping a close eye on Deku and how he favored Deku. I'm guessing his dad wants him to surpass All Might, and if anything, I'm guessing his dad is like the second best hero after All Might or something like that. I think they did mention that. I believe they did, but his dad may have those high expectations of him, and he doesn't like that for a fact. So he's possibly not using his the fire part of his quirk, just to spite his father. So it's going to be a battle in next week's episode between Deku's team and Todoroki's team. And then we're going to have where Kacchan is going to go against one of the Class B members. And it's going to be a really amazing episode. I can tell that for sure. And I can't wait to see when these characters go against each other during this second stage, because they only have a few minutes left before the third stage happens during this festival. So if you guys saw this week's episode of Boku no Hero Academia Season 2, Episode 4, do drop a comment down below on how you felt about this week's episode. What were some things that you thought was surprising to you? And what are your beliefs between Todoroki and his father's relationship? And what do you think is going to happen between these characters? And especially that Class B member, what do you believe his quirk is, or how he's going to go up against Kacchan? The links are in the description box as always. You guys go check that out. And I'm Kacchan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye.